Look at any crowded room. The loudest person at the table, the one constantly interrupting and waving their hands, is usually who we assume holds the most weight. But then there is the person sitting perfectly still. They barely speak. Yet the moment they lean forward, the entire room goes dead silent. They don't have to demand attention. It just gravitates toward them. Nearly 500 years ago, Niccolo Machiavelli mapped exactly why this happens. He realized that the world doesn't evaluate you based on who you actually are. They judge you by the significance you present on the outside. That judgment happens in milliseconds, long before anyone has a chance to assess your character or your track record. Human psychology measures your value by your physical restraint. When you constantly explain yourself, react to every minor slight, and fight for airtime, you are actively broadcasting insecurity. You are showing the room that you feel a desperate need to prove you belong there. Strategic presence grows through the refusal to leak your personal power to the people around you. This chart maps your availability against your perceived value. Notice what happens when you reply to every message instantly or jump into every casual argument. By being constantly accessible, your perceived value drops to the bottom, turning you into a commodity. Power relies on scarcity. To command respect, restrict access to your time. By letting people feel your absence, your presence regains its weight. The second leak happens when you open your mouth. While ordinary people talk to project their own importance, those who hold real influence use silence as a tool to map the room. Every time you speak, you give away information. You hand the people around you a psychological blueprint of your thoughts, your priorities, and your limits. Staying quiet flips the dynamic. When you refuse to fill the dead air, others will rush to do it for you. In their hurry to keep the conversation going, they often expose their own hidden intentions, their lies, and their insecurities. Your time and your words are your most valuable resources. Handing them out freely to anyone who asks is how you voluntarily surrender your psychological leverage to a crowd. The quickest way to lose control of a room is to lose control of yourself. If a single insult sparks your anger or a cheap compliment wins your favor, the person pushing those buttons is actually making your decisions. Rivals will actively test this. They will subtly attack your pride or provoke your ego, waiting for you to snap. They want an emotional mistake that reveals exactly how to manipulate you. Maintaining composure in a crisis renders your mind unreadable and impossible to control. But a quiet demeanor and a calm exterior are fragile facades if there's nothing behind them. True influence requires a foundation built on reality. Take Miyamoto Musashi. He fought over 60 duels and remained undefeated. His presence didn't come from loud boasting, but the undeniable reality of his capability. The world ultimately respects results, not intentions. When your skills are sharp enough, your work does the talking. You eliminate the need to self-promote because your track record proves your worth for you. Refusing to react protects your influence. Building your skill is what actually generates it. There is a final flaw that can undo all of this. You can master your availability, your words, your emotions, and your skills, but if you still harbor a secret hunger for external approval, your power is an illusion. This diagram illustrates the mechanics of that dependency. If you are addicted to praise or terrified of rejection, you are essentially tied down by the crowd's expectations. You become a prisoner to the opinions of the room. Establishing internal sovereignty means severing those ties entirely. When the opinions of others lose all leverage over your decisions, you achieve true independence. Presence is earned in real time. You build it by choosing observation over speaking, calm over reaction, skill over image, and independence over applause. True influence belongs to the one whose unbothered, sovereign existence forces the rest of the room to stop and think.